Have you ever looked or used a key machine and wondered what all the different jaw settings are for? Typically on a machine, on a two-sided jaw, there'll be an A and a B, or sometimes it's called a 1 and a 2. Or on a four-way jaw, you're going to see one that says A, B, C, D, or 1, 2, 3, 4, depending on the manufacturer. And you might be wondering, well, what in the world are all these different ones for? I know so many times a lot of people will just use jaw A, and sometimes you can run into a few difficulties with that. And so if that's something that you have wondered or thought about or want to get a little bit better educated about, well, I got something really cool for you. So Ilco recently came out with this really cool PDF. Now, I'll put a link in the notes below and you can check it out, download it, maybe experiment a little bit with the different jaws. But what I want to do in this video is kind of look at the PDF. I grabbed a key machine, I grabbed some keys, and I just want to kind of talk through it a little bit, because if you struggle cutting certain types of keys, especially like double-sided, like foreign automotive type keys, or just kind of double-sided in general, it can get you a little messed up if you don't know the different jaw settings. So I'm going to take a camera, let's put it up top here, and let's walk through it together. Okay, so now just remember, you can download the PDF. I highly recommend, if you struggle at all with clamping and cutting keys properly and having them sit flat, I tell you what, this will be a game changer for you. I want to give a special thanks to Ilco for coming out with a diagram like this. It's really cool and really helpful. So there's 3 pages. I'm just going to go to this one that has examples on it, and we're going to talk through it a little bit. So first up is the side A. Now, just to make sure we're on the same page here, to get to the different jaws on all the machines, you just back off the clamp here a little bit, and then you pick up from the bottom jaw right here. You see how it's spring loaded? You can pick it up and you can move the whole thing. Of course, make sure you move both the top and the bottom together, well, because if you don't, you're gonna have yourself problems. But I think on some of these newer ones, it kind of has it locked in pretty good there. So just do that. Okay, so on side A, it's gonna be your standard like KW1, SC1 type of keys. What's important here is on the jaw itself, on the top and the bottom, is just flat metal. It's just simply flat. So when you put a key in, like this quick set, I'm gonna clamp it down here. It's just gonna clamp it on both sides, and you can see where it's grabbing on this side, and then it's grabbing on this bottom part below. So it's flat on both sides. Really pretty straightforward, not too much to talk about here. Oh, and before I forget, you want to make sure that you have the same jaws on both sides. I'm going to be just flipping this one around, but make sure that one matches. All right, so I'm going to move it over to jaw B. Now, jaw B is the same thing as jaw A, essentially, but it's not as deep, right? So you could technically put a KW1 in here. It's not really great for that, though. Where it's going to come in handy is the smaller keys, like this M1 key here. As you can see, you can get it clamped down there, and it works really well. Now, a lot of people will still try to put the M1 on the A jaw, like you can see here, and it kind of works, but depending on the depth of the cut and what you got going on, it's best to go to the jaw B there. So for the smaller, shallower keys, using the B jaw for like the B5, M1, RA4, RA3 type of key. Next up is where we start getting into a lot of the fun, which is jaw C. Now, the difference between essentially A and B and then C and D is what the actual jaws look like. So I talked about on the A and B, both sides are flat. Well, on jaw C and on jaw D, they're essentially opposites of each other, and they actually have this groove sticking out on one side. So on jaw C, the groove's sticking out on the machine side, and then on the jaw D, the groove's sticking out, on your side of it, out here, going down. And is what these grooves are for is because you can't get a good clamp on one of the keys. The grooves allow you to actually slide the key in the groove. Now on on side C, like a Y159, H75, B86, those type of keys here. Now, I went and found a quick B86 that we'll put in here and talk about for a minute. But what's really important about this is a lot of times with like a B86, it wouldn't be uncommon for someone to try to cut this on jaw A. And how you know you've clamped it wrong is as you're cutting it, typically on the second side, as you're cutting, the key's gonna either start coming up like this, or even worse, it's gonna go fling, it's gonna fly. That's because there's really not enough meat on the bone here to clamp the key that way right here. So is what you wanna do, okay, is you're gonna get right in here. Now as you can see how I'm going back and forth right here? I'm actually on the groove, and the groove is actually what is going to align the key. And when you do that, right, just like that, you're really gonna get it. I mean, it's not going anywhere because it's caught in the groove. So that's a great part about jaw C and D. So that's how you do it. You can just put it in there and you can see, I mean, it gets in there really nice. And then lastly, we're gonna go to side D. Now, side D is, like I said, jaw C, but it's on the opposite side, the little groove part. So same thing here, we're just gonna get in and we're gonna slide that groove in. This is a, B10 right here. And so what's gonna happen, see how I'm just getting in there, I'm sliding it right in the groove. And is what I'm doing, I'm hooking right on this groove right here. So put it in there. And so what's gonna happen, right, when you get this in like so, it's nice and flat, it's flush with the cutter, which is what you want, and more importantly, this thing isn't going anywhere. You don't have to worry about it kind of bending out a little bit on you, going too deep and ruining the key or flying out, and it's gonna stay in there really nice and solid. Now, really quick, I do want to bring up one other quick thing here, and that is on the list of examples, Ilco lists the B106 key, which is a real common, like it's called the B111 or the Circle Plus key, or the B106 is the metalhead version. Now, this key in particular is probably the trickiest key out there for a lot of people duplicating, and you can buy these little adapters so you can cut the key on jaw A. However, you can do that, a lot of people do, but you can also just cut it without using adapters on jaw C. Let me show you really quick. All right, so I'm gonna grab the B106 here, and I'm gonna slide her back on over to D. And what's gonna happen, okay, see this groove here? This groove right here, is what I'm going to do is I'm just gonna put this groove on this part right here, okay, just like that. And then from there, it's nice and flush, it's nice and tight, and we're gonna be able to cut that key. Now, what you don't wanna do, okay, just to be clear, is try to clamp it right here. That's not gonna work, right? You really gotta get on this groove. All right, so you get on that groove like that, and you're really gonna be able to make it happen. So I've done it many times, and I actually have other videos where I talk about this thing, but I figure, since it's on the list, let's talk about it for a minute, and there you go. All right, so there you have it. That's the guide for the 4-way jaws, kind of applies to the 2-way jaws as well. If you've been struggling, check out this guide. Take a few minutes before you actually need to cut one of these keys. Maybe you haven't before. Try putting it in, get it familiar, because you know when the customer's waiting, or even worse, watching, well, you can start getting a little bit of the shakes and hurrying up. Next thing you know, you got keys flying, all sorts of chaos. Let's avoid all of that. Take a look at this guide. Once again, I want to give props to our friends over at Ilco for putting this together. Really cool, great job on it. But of course, I want to know what you think in the comments below. When you're looking at the PDF, is there anything that you want to add or maybe change or talk about? I would love to know in the comments below. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Well, I guess this is the end of the video, and it's time for you and I to part ways until next time. But hey, before you go, I really do want to make sure that you know that when you comment on our videos and you include the hashtag Lockboss, you automatically get hooked up to win cool stuff that we give away live here on YouTube every Tuesday. So we'd love to have you join us. We'd love to have you comment, and I look forward to reading them soon.